Eight. I believe that we are live. Welcome, everybody, to day 3 of our vision board workshop. My name is Donnie Alvarenga, and I'm honored to be one of the facilitators of this workshop. And we have gone over a couple of things this past week. We talked about how unlocking abundance is a journey and it's not a destination. So it's not like a once done, always done. It's something that we need to kind of continue working on, not kind of, but we need to continue working on. But it's about embracing your dreams, harnessing the power of visualization, and nurturing an attitude of gratitude. So on the first day, we did some exercises on gratitude and started noticing the power that gratitude has in shifting our attitude. And we also talked about how powerful visualization can be as well. Now, yesterday, we reviewed how you're playing small does not serve the world, and we actually filled out a permission slip. And if you signed your permission slip, I invite you to sign that thing, take a picture of it, and post it online. Let people know that you are giving yourself permission to want more and that that's okay. Remember in the poem that we read about you're playing small doesn't serve the world, it shows that when you shine your when you shine your light bright and you grow, it gives other people permission to grow. So you giving yourself permission to dream bigger and to want more gives other people permission to dream bigger and want more. We also talked about how to break free of all of the limiting ideas and the limitations that keep us small. And one of them is to challenge the narrative that says that life should be a certain way or has to be a certain way or is better a certain way. Embrace imperfection and learn to out-talk the critic and be intentional about it by really practicing affirmations. And so those are a couple of things that we talked about yesterday. And this whole week, what we're hoping that you'll walk away with is figuring out what is it that you want most? What is it that's most important to you so that you can live in tension with that? Live in intention with that. So living with intention means saying no to the things that aren't important to us so we can say yes to what matters most. And one of the things that we did yesterday was go through an activity where we took inventory of the different areas of life, the areas that Gallup organization has called the currency of a life well lived, so that we can identify what is it that we want more of in each of those areas. And then we prioritized what are the areas that are most important to us. And today we're going to create your roadmap to success. And we're going to be talking about how emotions, why and how emotions fuels our success, and how to fuel our goals and our vision with emotion, then how to use a vision board as a tool for success. So it's not just about the art of it. We've been talking about that this whole week. This is not about resolutions. This is not about what you're going to achieve in 2024 necessarily. It's simply about painting a very vivid 3D picture, like tangible picture of what it is that's most important to you to serve as a guide and the true north to every choice you make every single day, right? So, how do we build the bridge from the dream to reality? What is it that bridges those two together? Well, what bridges those two together is action. And the truth is that most of us know what to do, but we don't do it. Why? Because what fuels the action is emotion. So we can know what to do, but if we don't connect that doing with the emotion, if we don't connect the dream with the emotion, we may never actually do the action, which means we may never see the reality of that dream. And so the truth is that we don't do what we know, we do what we feel. And here is a perfect example of it. We just came off of a holiday, right? Christmas was last week. And I've been talking to clients, and a lot of them said, you know what? I know what to do, but this week I put what I know on the shelf because it's a holiday, right? And so what happens is, and I'm not saying just clients, I've done it too, and I do it too, right? Is we put what we know on the shelf and we do what we feel in the moment. We do the comfort food, we do the traditional food, we do what the social settings tell us to do, right? That is just a perfect example of how we don't do what we know, we do what we feel. And so emotional attachment actually serves as a magnet. that actually pulls us towards our goals with an almost irresistible force. So by plugging emotion into your goals, you increase your chances of success because it becomes that magnet. It compels you into action. And if you can get into action, you're going to move from dream to reality. Emotions actually drive motivation. And I liked the definition of motivation as motive for action, right? It's the motive for action. And emotions fuel that. So what ends up happening is that if you're stuck between two decisions, sometimes the deciding factor is whatever your gut says, right? And what ends up happening is that our emotions, they kick in quick. They'll get us up and moving, if you will, and then the logic will keep us going. And so it's important that we learn to tap into those emotions. Emotionally resonant goals connect us to our core values. And that's actually why they rise emotion in us, is because they are connected to what we value most, right? And when we are in alignment with our core values, that simply, I don't know if you've ever heard of the term flow. That puts you in flow when you feel like you're in alignment and you're doing the things that are very important to, or that are important to you. Emotions also act as a filter and help prioritize what matters most. So I simply put a picture of some of the things that matter most to me, and that picture elicits emotion in me. And you can fill in the blank, fill in that picture with whatever it is, whoever it is that's important to you. And I like to use the example of a burning building, right? If I were to ask you to do a thing, remember that what moves us from dream to reality is action. And yet we won't do the action unless we're motivated by emotion. Okay. So imagine there's a burning building, and I ask you to please go into that building to get a book that I had borrowed from you and you had borrowed from the library, right? So you know what to do. You have to go into the building. You know you have to get the book so you can return it so you don't have to pay a fine, right? But the truth is that you see all the resistance. You see all the distractions from the goal. You see the fire, you see the danger to your life, the danger to your health, to your safety, right? And you're like, I'm not going to do it, right? All of the distractions keep you from taking action. However, if whatever it is that's in that picture that I asked you to fill in, that thing that's most important to you, if they were inside of that burning building, all of a sudden the emotions surrounding that would act as a filter that would help you prioritize what matters most. Okay. So you would still see the fire, you would still see the risk to your health and to your life and to your safety and all the things. But I would venture to guess that not one of you would keep from running into that building because the emotions would drive you. The logic would be put on the shelf and the emotions would act as a filter and help prioritize what matters most. Now, obviously, the burning building is a terrible example. It's a tragic example. But the truth is that whatever it is that's most important to you will always be on the other side of some kind of resistance, some kind of fear, some kind of obstacle. And those fears and obstacles and resistance will keep us from getting into action if it's not fueled by emotion. That will kind of filter out all of those distractions and keep you focused on that thing, which brings me to this next point. That emotions enhance our focus. We are no longer distracted by things that otherwise would really pull our attention, like safety matters, for example. But you're thinking about what's most important to you. And when you're focused, that enhances your chances of success. Emotions also serve as an armor to help us weather the storms. Okay, that resistance that you're going to experience, the challenges you're going to face, I'm just going to give it to you straight, gonna happen. Gonna happen. And those storms could either serve to, you could take those storms and see that's why I can't have it, okay? Or you can use the storm and use the emotion to create some either anger or passion or excitement, okay, that will help you fight back or push through that resistance. Goals minus the emotion lead to checking things off a list. And it leads to procrastination, it leads to giving up, And it leads to, even if you do achieve the thing because you did the work, it leaves you feeling unfulfilled and empty. Okay. That is what a goal without emotion looks like. And so the people that are successful in life, they're the ones that have learned to connect their vision and goals to emotion so that their emotion can drive them to make that vision a reality. Okay? So how do you fuel your vision with emotion? How do you connect the two? Well, first of all, get clear on what's important to you, right? Which hopefully we did yesterday. And if you haven't done the worksheet yet, for those of you that have not registered, we invite you to register because there is actually a workbook that is available to you. And in that workbook, you get to work through to figure out what is it that's most important to you. And there's no answer sheet to this one. This is all about what it is that's most important to you, and you're the only one that has the answer to that. But the truth is that for most of us, we get distracted by the shoulds that we talked about yesterday. We get distracted by the what other people think, by what society standards are, all of the things that pull our attention away. And we never know what's really truly important to us. And that's why this is the very first thing is we need to know what is it that's important to you. And then once you know what's important to you, we need to tap into the power of why. Just as gratitude is a powerful attitude shifter, why is a powerful motivator because it connects you to that emotion. That's literally what why does. It helps connect you to the meaning and purpose behind what it is that's driving you. For example, I shared with you guys a question of whatever goal it is that you're looking to achieve, whatever it is that's most important to you, whatever it is that you would like more of in your life, and ask if you did get that, who would benefit most from that? A lot of us are willing to whatever it takes for the people that are important to us. Sometimes we're not as willing to do it for us, but when we stop and think about it, if we were to achieve that thing, we can serve the people we love so much better. And oftentimes they benefit more than we do. Okay. And when you can connect to that why, that will drive your action. Why? Because it connects your emotion to the dream, it connects the emotion to the action. Now, how do you connect to that why? Well, you ask yourself, why is this important to me? Not just once, but over and over and over until you get goosebumps. Okay. So you ask yourself why, a lot of times people come looking to lose some weight. I want to lose some weight. Okay. Well, why is that important to you? And then when you find out, well, my jeans are tight. Well, why is that important to you that your jeans not be tight? Right? Well, because it's affecting my self-esteem. Well, why is your self-esteem important? Well, because if my self-esteem was better, then I would be bolder about my career choices. And why is that important to you? And I'm giving you guys an example of somebody's why that I've actually coached. Okay. Why is that important to you? Because I hate my job and I feel like I'm just sitting around. And so here we've connected the 20 pounds, just want to feel better, right? To, oh, this is life changing. Okay. Now you have a powerful motivator to help you get those 20 pounds off, right? Whatever that thing is for you, if you don't tap into the why, if we just focus on the what, I want to lose 20 pounds. Okay, I know what, but remember that the what without the emotion becomes a checklist, leads to procrastination, giving up, and even if you do achieve it, leaving you kind of feeling empty. Okay. And when you plug into that power of why, then it becomes like a magnet that pulls you in the direction of your goals and what's important to you. Now, the third step to connect your goals to your emotions is to engage your senses. Now, I homeschool. And so if it's been a minute since you've been in school, let's review our senses, right? We've got the sense of sight, of smell, of taste, of touch, of hearing. Okay. You want to engage as many of your senses as possible. Now, what a vision board does is it engages your sense of sight. And that's why we're talking about vision boards. Because when you're sitting and you've just practiced gratitude and you're able to give it some time, all of these things, it looks wonderful and exciting and all of it. But as we talked about before, the whole process of opening up and unlocking abundance, it's a journey. It's not like a destination. It's not a one-time thing. And so what happens when you've had a bad day? What happens when you've had a setback? What happens when you've had a disappointment? Well, when you have a vision board, it reminds you, it engages your senses, and it reminds you what it is that's most important to you. Now, another thing that you can do is you can create a playlist, okay? A playlist of what it is that um it will sound like, or something that motivates you into action, right? Another thing that you want to do is sit back and reflect and use your visualization techniques to kind of imagine, okay, when I have achieved that thing that's important to me, when I'm living that thing that's important to me, how will that feel? And as you're kind of walking through, how does it feel? Like, is it hot? Is it cold? Where are you? What clothes are you wearing? Right? You want to be as detailed as possible. Take notes, okay? Because those notes are going to be things that you're going to add to your vision board. They're going to be things that you're going to add all over creation in your house to remind you of what it is that's important, because we want to keep engaging those senses over and over and over. Now, this vision board is a board that I created. This was the first vision board I created, and it was actually on a poster board that I actually have tucked away there behind my curtain, but I put it in front of me here in my office, right next to me, so that I could see it all the time. Even though I made this vision board 13 years ago, and even though some of the stuff I feel like I've checked off, and even though I didn't know any of the stuff that I'm talking to you guys about now, I didn't I guess the moral of the story here is don't overthink this thing, right? We're giving you some of the science behind it. We're giving you some tips and strategies for best practices, but this has been a motivating factor for me for about 12 years, 13 years, however long I put it together. And it continues to drive, even though there's a lot of things on here that I have already achieved, it continues pulling me. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in a little bit. But then the last thing you want to do is you want to celebrate with gusto, right? Because celebration engages your senses, right? It engages your emotions and it fires you up for more. Going back to that whole gratitude thing, right? When you're grateful, when you celebrate, you get more of that. I like to say that what gets celebrated gets repeated, right? So how do you create a vision board? Well, I told you that I actually put together a vision board on a poster board, and then I actually just took a picture of it and printed it out so that it would be easier for me to put on my bulletin board here. On the screen here, you can see somebody that actually has like a push pin board, right? A cork board, and they're putting the things on their board. You can do it digitally online. And tonight, for those of you that have registered for our community time, we're actually going to work through and find some of the things to put on a vision board digitally. Now, if digital makes your, eyes go crossed and, technology is your nemesis, then don't use technology. Okay. You don't need to use technology. I personally just like it because I'm able to select images and put together a board pretty quickly. So this was actually a board that I put together a couple of years ago digitally, and then I had it printed, and I have it hanging in front of right behind this screen, so I could see it all the time. Okay, which we'll talk about that in a minute as well. So anyways, so the media that you use to create a vision board is irrelevant. What it needs to be is tangible. What it needs to be is visible, okay? So that it can trigger your senses again when you start losing sight. Remember, we talked about on day one that part of the reason why resolutions fail is because we lose sight of what's important to us. We lose sight of what we really want, okay? And so how do you choose the images that you're going to put on there? Well, you choose the images that elicit those emotions, right? Because we want to keep those emotions coming up over and over again. So if you look on my vision board here, you see that pretty much in the middle, Ooh, right there. Ooh, there. That right there is a very powerful motivator to me. Why? What does that mean to me? That means being present for my kids. That means making memories with my kids. Okay. And both of those things, being present, making memories, they pull at my heartstrings like you would not believe. That is why this is so powerful to me, even 13 years later, because it's such a perfect example of what I want to plan my life around. I want to plan my life around making myself available to raise these kids and to equip them for life to serve many others, right? So that is a powerful motivator for me. So you choose images, whether they be pictures or whether they be other pictures. So I actually put a picture here of, I don't know if you guys can see it, but here we go. There's a woman standing with her arms up in the air and it says, I am debt free. Okay. So that image elicits like so much peace for me, right? And the statements, which goes back to what words do you choose? You choose words that are meaningful to you, right? So what I did on this vision board, I put it in big red bold letters. You got the power. And actually this vision board, I think I have posted here so you guys can see it. So I put in big red bold letters, you got the power. And I wrote a couple of Bible verses that are really meaningful to me that speak power into my life. And I have this, like I mentioned, it's now I can't hang it here, but I have it hanging behind my computer screen so that I see it all the time. And so you want to choose images that inspire you. You want to choose images that evoke emotion in you. And you want to use words that also connect you back to those emotions. Remember, the people that are successful are the people that master that skill of bringing up the emotion on demand. You would think that that's kind of like an actor, okay? But those emotions are really real to you. It's just that when life happens, sometimes we lose touch with those emotions. And so this vision board is simply a place where you kind of reactivate the magnet, if you will, right? That is the power of a vision board. But it's only as powerful as you use it, just like a hammer is just as good. It's only as good as you actually use the thing, right? A drill is only as good as you use it, right? And if you use your vision board as a compass guiding each step of your life, you won't need resolutions, right? Because now you are clear on what it is that's important to you. You have connected to the emotions, and every situation that comes up in life, you're able to look at that thing and use it as that compass, as that true north of what should I do next. Okay? You use that to guide your decisions when you're torn between one choice and the other, one goal and the other, one priority and the other. And that's why it's so important that you first get clear on what it is that's most important to you. So once again, the power of the vision board is not in putting it together and then putting it in a closet and never seeing it again. The power in a vision board is making it visible on a very regular basis, at least daily. And one of the things that I like about digital is that you can also keep it on your phone. Now, of course, you can put it on a bulletin board, or you can put it on a poster board and take a picture of it too. But I encourage you to make it as visible, as easily visible as possible. So for those of you that registered and that are joining us for our community time, what we're going to be doing next is we're going to actually work through with somebody on what is it that's important to them, how you connect it to the goal, to the emotion, and then how do you choose images and words and so forth that will be powerful and create that magnet in your life. For those of you that have not registered, once again, I invite you to register. You can go to bit.ly/vision-board-2024 so you can access the workbook or connect with the person that invited you so that you can get access to the workbook so that you can get clear on what it is that you want more of in your life. And you can then let go of resolutions and let go of the idea of Quitter's Day or give up on your resolutions day, and simply live your life and plan your life around what matters most to you, because that is what our heart's desire is is that you plan your life around what matters most to you. If you are lacking creativity, or if you are lacking belief that what you want is possible, that can limit your creativity and your visualization in what you want. And this past week, we've been collecting several stories of what's possible. And we want to invite you to listen in on those stories because that will expand your horizons. I, when I heard a story once upon a time, I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. That I grew up knowing I wanted. I grew up knowing I wanted to be available for my kids. I grew up knowing I wanted to homeschool. I grew up knowing I wanted to be present and create memories. What I never knew was that I also would love to have my husband home too. And that was something that was brand spanking new to me that expanded my horizons when I heard a story. And so I invite you to hear the stories. And so if you would like to get access to those, we invite you to connect with the person that invited you so that they can share those stories with you so that you can once again expand your horizons and realize that you can actually plan your life around what matters most to you. So with that, thank you so much for joining us. Happy New Year. And for those of you that did register, hang tight. All righty, guys. So let me unpin myself here. And I want to give you guys all mad props for making time to plan your life. Most people spend more time planning their vacations than they spend time planning their life. So props to you for making the time for that. And so what I wanted to do was give you an example of what it looks like to work through what is it that's important and how do I make it connected to an emotion and how do I make it visible? Okay. And so I want to welcome Tim on and thank you, Tim, for your willingness to share today. And so, Tim, I would love to hear from you from your journaling yesterday and kind of evaluating what's most important to you. What what are some of the things that are most important to you in your life that you would like to, have more of in your life and you would love to bring about?
Well, from my journaling opportunity, I really kind of was finding a lot of things that have always been things that I've been pursuing, but I never really sorted them out and focused in on them. Like I wanted them, but you don't really you kind of have to sort through all the noise to get a focus on them. And
Oh, so you've had noise.
oh, much noise, more noise than yeah. I've had a little too much noise actually. Um, but being able to focus in on the things that are most important really is kind of a process. It doesn't happen all at once. For me, it had to do with consistency. It had to do with my own physical health journey, continuing because I made my goal twice, and getting to that goal was great. But where do you go from here? There's got to be more. You can't just be complacent and just sit back. So I'm glad I had the opportunity to be a part of that last night because and the night before because it's helping me to get more of a focus. My business is big for me, huge.
Can I can I put a pause just real quick? And
Sure.
this is not something that we had talked about today, but we've talked about before.
Yep.
Um, it's interesting that you're talking about your physical health goals and what you've accomplished in your physical health. So
Yep.
for those that might, oh, hang on, I'm not recording. I'm not recording, and it's not live on Facebook. Okay, we're okay. Just wanted to make sure. So, for those that might not know, how much have you lost?
Um, from October 2019 to July of 2020, I lost 114 pounds.
Okay,
And then I gained about 23 back over the last 3 years or so. And I lost that. So I'm back around 183, 182.
that's massively impressive. How has that changed your life?
Everything's changed. How I look at myself, how I look at other people, how I look at my situations. There's I was a very reactionary person, and I still can be. Um, Responses are what gets results. Reactions just they breed chaos, and that was my life. So I've learned how to kind of manage that, and I'm still a work in progress, obviously, but it's just amazing what can happen when you start to see that you can accomplish something. I never finished anything really, and this was the first actual goal that meant my life to me that I finished, and I will never
Oh,
ever trade that for anything else.
I love it. I love it. So when you and I connected, where on your radar was weight loss? Was that why we connected?
Let's put it this way: weight loss in my mind was not a it was a priority, but I had given up hope, and I was thinking about surgery. I was thinking about the easy, quick, just I'm done with it. Just I'm not even going to put any more energy into it. I'm just done. I was looking for a job. I was looking for a new career. I wanted to branch off from my nursing career and try something a little bit new and go into business for myself.
So what I heard you say, and I mean, we've been working together for what, 4 years?
Almost 5 years.
Yeah. So we've been working together for a while, and I never thought to ask you this question until maybe a few months ago when I asked where on your list of priorities was weight loss back then. And it dawned on me that, oh my goodness, you had lost hope. That was, even though it was important, it was no longer something that was on the radar for you as something that you could want because it had seemed so impossible for so long, right?
It was killing me. And I knew it. When I look back at where I was just before I met you, I it was not a great place to be. Depressed all the time, sitting in front of the TV, not falling asleep at like 6 o'clock in the evening for no apparent reason other than just because, right? And those were things that was so I was so used to it that it was the possibility of being able to go beyond that. I'd stopped dreaming about that.
This is I have goosebumps every time we talk about this because this is such a perfect example of how our brain plays tricks on us, right? And even though it's something that's so important and actually so obvious to us, it's something that we keep saying, "Ugh, I'm not allowed. Uh, I'm not allowed. I can't want that anymore because that is off limits for me." Right. And you had just lost hope. And so the reason you reached out was because you were looking for a way to make an income,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And the truth is that a lot of people come to us and say, I want to lose 20 pounds, I want to lose 30 pounds, or I want to lose 100 pounds. And they're actually also dying. And it's so obvious to them. And yet they've stopped believing it's possible. They've stopped believing that it's even an opportunity for them. And so they've just kind of put it on the shelf, just like you did, right?
Yep.
And you're not alone. If you are listening to this and you have ever felt that way about anything in your life where it's like something you wanted so bad, but you've decided it's just not in the cards for you, type a 1 into the chat. And I'll just put the 1 in there myself, right? Because you are not alone. And that's what this workshop I was hoping to do, was to reconnect to that thing. What is it you are allowed to want? Why? Because you gave yourself permission, right? Not because I gave you permission, but because you gave yourself permission. And I want to give you mad props for giving yourself permission to take that weight goal off the shelf and say, I'm going to revisit it again. And look what you have accomplished, right? Oh my goodness, that is amazing. Congratulations, Tim.
Thank you. Thank you. I know that one of the biggest problems that I had was being a nurse. I'm very skeptical, and I'm also think I know everything. And I want to be the one to fix other people, but myself, I wasn't willing to fix. And when you get into that mindset for 27 years, as I've been a nurse for that long, you start to realize that you cannot continue. It's not sustainable. It just doesn't work. And when I realized that there was somebody that I could dispassionately kind of hook up with and would support me and kind of guide me through the process, Donnie wasn't all warm and fuzzy. Straight up, she wasn't. She's my family now, as far as I'm concerned. But when she started this thing, she's very like, you know, very compartmentalized. And it was weird for me because that's not me at all. But in order to have that objectivity, that's what she gave me as a gift. She gave me her objectivity as a gift, if that makes sense to everybody.
Which I also want to point out is that your coach is going to become your friend, but your coach is also going to challenge you, which is ultimately what I did when I asked you, hey, are you open to taking that off the shelf again? Right. And I had to kind of show you some proof too. I had to show you what was possible before you could even consider it again. And that's what I was talking about just a minute ago, that there's stories. The stories open up our horizons as well. And so there are 6 areas that we listed on that workbook, right? And you have really conquered in the area of physical health. And I'm curious to find out, what is an area that you are looking to improve on, of those 6, that's important to you?
Um, I've been able to see the impact that it had on my life and paying that forward. I'm not going to candy coat anything. I want a business. I
Yeah.
want to continue my business. I want to move forward. I want to be successful. But success for me in my business is not just numbers. Success for me is being a good coach and changing people's lives and having them now go out and change other people's lives. Yeah, it's a business model, but guess what? It's also a measure of success in my eyes. And my eyes are more important than anybody else's opinion. I don't need somebody else's opinion. I need my opinion because I got to live with that.
Yes. And I would love for everybody to type into the chat, give me a 3 if you want to give Tim permission to be real today. Okay. Because I appreciate, Tim, your willingness to share what's important to you. And so I really want to, you to see the support that you have in being real with that. And so, when you reached out to me to begin with, you were looking for a career shift. You were looking for a way to generate an income, and you're not beating around the bush about it now either. You want to continue doing that. And the question I'm going to ask you, is, if you are successful the way you hope to be successful in a business, who will benefit?
Are you asking me directly or everybody?
I'm asking you directly. I'm asking
Okay.
you directly because this is what's important to you, right? So if you were to be as successful as you would like to be, no ifs, ands, or buts, if failure was not an option, who will benefit from you achieving that goal?
Well, my family, um, my clients, my family, we call it friends and family together. They kind of get merged. Um, their lives change. On the one hand, my family's life changes because now I have the freedom and the ability to help support them and to spend time with them that I can't spend when I'm busting my head 60 hours a week trying to get my job done. And on the other hand, I'm given the gift of the dominant force, people becoming the dominant force in their own lives. And now they are freeing up time and quality time. We call it more yes days with their family. It's a win-win. It doesn't, there's no, there really isn't any losing in that. So that's a measure of success for me.
And I know that there are some of your clients on today, and I would love for you to type a 5 into the chat if you are grateful that Tim shared this gift with you, right? And you talked about your clients benefiting. You talked about your family benefiting, but recently you heard from a client's family members, didn't you?
Yeah. Yeah.
How did that
It,
feel?
it felt pretty amazing, actually. When you start to realize that the social part of our business is actually relationships, it's reaching out to meet people and to form relationships. It really is kind of cool when you start to hear from someone that's a part of that family but not really involved in the journey at all, to hear the feedback as to how that's affecting someone's life. And I've heard that more than one time. And my response back to them is, it's all them, because they made the choice to move forward. They made Every day they make a choice to continue to work towards that thing that they told me, they shared with me, they gifted to me, was their why. They said, I want this. And every day they make the choice to do that, they are now making inspiration happen for the people around them. And that's what I got back. And that's what I said. It's like Sunday. I said it right, Kathy and Terry. Sundays are my best day of the week. Legit. Because I hook up with your family and everybody is like crushing things. And it's just, I'm sorry, I'm getting excited. But this is the cool part about this.
Don't
It's
be
like,
sorry for getting excited. That's the emotion that drives this bus, right?
these people all on here know I'm a hot mess anyway. So it's like when I go off, I go off. I'm bleh. But
Yeah.
it's I get excited about it because you know that every single one of them is doing something that they really haven't been able to do before. And every single victory they put in front of each other, one after the other, one after the other, that's building a life for them that they didn't think they could have either.
And you know what that feels like.
Oh, without a doubt.
And
That's
you
why I
how
get
does it
so
feel
stoked, man.
to be able to give that away?
Yes.
Yeah. And so you building a business, because what I hear you saying, what I heard you saying is that you want to build a business that could free you from a 9 to 5.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
for those of the coaches that are on here, if you can please put the financial disclaimer, please, because I definitely want to say that results are not typical and that it takes work. In case you haven't noticed, doing the 5-in-1 takes work, building a business takes work. Okay. But we're talking here about what Tim wants after abundance has been unlocked. Okay. And so with abundance unlocked, you envision a life where you can provide for your family without having to leave them for 60 hours a week.
Right.
So if you were able, and by the way, every single dollar we earn through Optavia, by the way, represents a family tree that has been changed,
That's
right?
right. Yep.
So that's why I began with the question, who would benefit from you achieving your goal? Well, this is the deal, is there would be hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of families that would benefit from you achieving your goal. There
Yep.
would be hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of kids that are going to enjoy their parents a lot longer as a result of you achieving your goal, right? And yet, how would it, like, tell me what that looks like? Imagine your life and you don't have to leave on Monday morning. And you said earlier that why that's important is because you can then support your family. What are some of the things that would be important to you that you might be able to do more of?
My family is my son and my daughter-in-law and my granddaughter are about 1,800 miles away. So being able to go down when we want to, spend time with them, not be by your leave of anyone, having to ask them permission so that I can go and use up my PTO. And oh, by the way, I get sick and something gets sucks it away anyway. So then I've got nothing. Those decisions are, it's life right now, but it doesn't have to control every aspect of our enjoyment or our joy. And I think that if I'm building a business that has that kind of impact and has that kind of income, that frees me up to get better at it.
So tell me how that feels. You just picked up on Tuesday morning. and decided you're going to just get in the car and go. How does that feel?
Amazing. It's a physically lighter feeling.
You physically feel it. It's not
Oh,
just,
oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah. Without a doubt. And everyone here that works, when you have vacation right now, I would be willing to bet, and it's a little weird, but it's the truth, that when you go on vacation, you're planning on going back to work and you're thinking about that the whole time you're on vacation. You're anticipating that. What if you didn't have to anticipate that? That now opens up a whole lot of more opportunities to direct what I'm doing to build some more people up and to do some more really cool things that bring me joy and bring other people joy. Because if you can do that, that's the perfect job.
yeah. So it feels amazing to be able to pick up and go. You
Yes.
are with your family. What are some of the things that you would enjoy doing for them to support them or with them?
More beach days with sunscreen, of course, but more
Mhm.
beach days, right?
More beach days. Yeah.
Absolutely. More beach days, more hiking days. I love to hike. I love to go to the mountains. The White Mountains are, it's a place that I haven't been in about 3 years, and my heart is longing to go back there. Um, but being able to take the time out, and with our economy the way it is crushing us, it's hard. It really is. And you need the additional plan in place in order to free that time up. So those are really, I more time with them, more time going places, doing things. I've got a good opportunity now that I'm going to be going on a cruise in April.
Yeah.
That's been a benefit from what I've been doing.
Yeah.
Is it does it define my business? No, it doesn't define what I do. What it is it's an evidence of what I've been able to accomplish.
Yes. So I love that. Now, how you're imagining hiking, making memories with your grandkids and your kids, right?
Yep.
So what we're going to do is we're going to look and I know that you have a specific dollar amount in mind and that's important for you and you write that down
Mhm.
and you don't have to share it, okay?
Yep.
But for those of you what we're that are listening, what I want you to be picking up on is how we're connecting and we're talking about what's important and we're moving it to the emotion, okay? It's not just about making an income so that I can leave a job. That's the what. But what we're doing is we're connecting it to the why. Why is that important? Right? We're connecting it to that emotion. Now, once we've tapped into that emotion, how would you describe? I know you mentioned that it felt like a physically lighter feeling. What other words would you use to describe that feeling that you just picked up on Tuesday morning and decided to drive down?
Mm. Um, it gets easy to get caught up in the daily and to get really kind of bummed out about certain things. And sometimes a little distraction is a good thing because it gives you a chance to give your brain a vacation.
So it feels like a brain vacation.
Yeah, it does. Because you're not worrying about, okay, am I going to pay the mortgage? Am I going to pay for the water bill? Which, you know, stupid amounts of laundry and showers, they add up. Um, the groceries, the gas, all of those things that are constantly like it's like I'm going Tuesday and I'm taking off to see my kids and it's all taken care of.
So, what I hear you saying, it's not just the freedom to pick up and go, but it's the freedom
Yep.
to pick up and go without the worry of how you're going to pay your bills.
And not worrying about having to be accountable more so to other people. See, it's like we always like we're so expendable in the corporate world and in the workplace. We are expendable. We really are. But we're not expendable to our families. And we can't recoup that time that we've wasted, right? I worked my butt off when I was younger, and I wasted a lot of time. I worked off shifts. Donnie, you know what this is like. You've worked the off shifts too. It's a life suck. Imagine not being having to do that and just being, and I'm not saying a vacation 24/7. My name ain't Kanye, yo. But I'm not gonna go live in the stadium, in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. I won't be there. But we were there when he was there, right? For the convention. He was there somewhere in the midst of all that. Um, I'm not gonna do that. I need purpose. I need a purpose. I need to be able to say, okay, this is my plan and this is where I need to go. Because if I don't have a plan, Tim is a hot mess walking. I'm an ADD nightmare and I get distracted. I don't stay focused. But that's something that if your passion inside of you is driving that, like for me, I'm not going to want to stop. I'm going to
So
keep
what I hear,
going.
there's a couple of words that come to mind. Tell me if they resonate with you. I hear freedom because it's like you don't have to ask permission from anybody.
That's right.
I hear the whole idea of, oh, there was a word that was just floating around my mind and it just slipped. What do you guys hear? What are some of the emotions that you type into the chat? What are some of the emotions that you kind of hear from Tim in the idea of having that freedom to pick up and go, purpose, excitement? Do you guys hear some excitement in there? Passion. Okay. And all of that is fueled by the freedom that comes from being able to generate that income in a way that's making an impact and building that freedom. So it's all kind of interconnected, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to try to find some images that reflect that for you, okay? Now, if you have a picture of your family that reflects that, also, if you want to send that over, I'm going to try to share my screen here. And I use what's called Canva.com. There's a free version of it that you can use. And what's really cool, we can just put here, let's put poster. I usually will do for vision boards, I do put posters. And they have like different templates. I don't want a template. I want just a blank poster. Here we go. And now you can use a template if you want, but I'm just saying let's find something here. And so on the left here, you can go under elements and you can type freedom. Okay, because that was an emotion that I heard coming from like something that seemed to excite Tim, right? And do any of these speak to you, Tim? Do they connect with you in any way?
Actually, that one at the bottom there with the dude standing on the rock.
This one?
Yeah.
Okay. So once again, it's not about the art of it. It's about getting something on there that reflects what he wants. So what we'll do is we're going to add a text box here. Oops, that's really microscopic. Let's find a font that really moves you, Tim. Is there like a font here that moves you, speaks to you?
Um, oh no, here comes the ADD.
How about
I'm a
this one?
font mess. I'm a font mess. I'm thinking, um, try the Playfair display.
Good choice. That's very clear. And so we're going to make that bigger. I'm going to type in freedom. Okay. And we'll, I don't know, let's make that white so it pops out, make it bold. So you highlight it, you click up here, make it bold. Here you can change the color. Okay. So right there, you got freedom.
Yep.
Now, all of that comes from like a financial relief, if you will, right? So what word do you think we can search for that financial relief or financial abundance, or what word are you thinking?
Prosperity.
Prosperity. Love it. So let's see if we can find one that speaks to you. Am
Um,
I going too fast?
yeah, could you scroll back down again?
Scroll back up.
I'm sorry, yes. Yeah, it's funny. If you can just scroll back down one more time. There's one at the very bottom. That one. The
Which
one
one?
with the key.
One with the key.
Yep.
Ooh, your key to prosperity. So did you notice that this already comes with the words on there, right? Okay. And Tim knows what this means to him. And he could make this bigger if that's what's more important, or he can make it smaller and just stack it on here. Okay. He can make it leave a space in between. Bottom line is that it needs to be something that is visually popping, right? I usually like to leave a white space in between because it makes it pop. Because you need to be able to catch your attention quickly. Okay. Um, but I wanted to just give you guys an example of how what you're doing is you're connecting to the emotion more than you are to the what. Okay? So, maybe a road trip. Do you think that a road trip picture would speak to you, or would you want to fly?
I don't know. I have some PTSD from road trips.
Oh, so maybe you want to fly, right?
Um,
Um,
Probably flight. Yeah.
okay. And we go to photos. So,
I'm going to say the wing.
which one?
You know, when you're always taking a look out when you're
This
taking
one?
off. Yeah, the wing.
Okay.
Because that's the best view in the world right there.
Yeah. Okay. So, I just wanted to give you guys an example of what it is that you're doing with this vision board. Okay. You're not necessarily putting specific things as you are putting the emotions on there. Okay. Now, obviously, if you want to put a specific thing that's really, really important to you, by all means, please do that. Okay. What is an affirmation or a statement that kind of fuels your passion, Tim, or that you repeat to yourself often?
Ogmandino.
Which one?
Um, Let me go to the. I've got it right here. Hang on a second. There's actually two. When you succeed, your transformation is an inspiration to others. And then I will persist until I succeed. I
Which
was
did,
not, oops.
go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was not delivered unto this world in defeat, nor does failure course in my veins. I am not a sheep waiting to be prodded by my shepherd. I am a lion, and I refuse to talk, to walk, to sleep with the sheep. I will hear not those who weep and complain, for their disease is contagious. Let them join the sheep. The slaughterhouse of failure is not my destiny. I will persist until I succeed.
So what you want to do with quotes is you want to keep it like you don't want to put the whole poem, if you will. Put
Sorry
the
about that.
words that really, really pop, right?
That's
Um,
my wallpaper. Sorry.
no, I love it. I will persist until I succeed. And then you put a color that speaks to you. You know, red might be a little aggressive, or maybe you want purple. Okay. Once again, don't overthink this. Just put on here things that will remind you to keep moving, things that will pull you, that will activate that magnet towards what it is that's most important to you. Can you guys see how this becomes so much better than a resolution?
Yeah.
Okay. Because it connects you to that emotion, and the emotion drives the action that gets you to that goal. Now, once again, I definitely want to make sure to clarify, I am not knocking goals. Goals are important. I recommend you make goals every month, every week, every day. Okay. Have goals. They're good. They're important. I'm not knocking them. But when you plan your life around what matters most, it gives you clarity on which goals to set. It gives you clarity on what's a distraction. It gives you clarity on what you need to kind of set aside so you can focus on what's really important, right? And so that's what this whole week was about. And I'm hoping that that is what you got. So once you have your, was this helpful, Tim?
Absolutely. I've been to a couple of workshops and I've done vision boards before, but I've never walked through it like this. And it was very helpful. Thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Thank you for being willing to share and be vulnerable. And thanks to everybody for giving him permission to do so. And so as you put your vision board together, I invite you to take a picture of it and send it to your coach. And as you get your priorities in order as to what's most important, take a picture of it and put it into your coach, your team coaching chat. Okay. Because we want to cheer you on in all areas. Remember that this program is not a weight loss program. It is not a diet. It is a personal development program with a benefit of weight loss if that's what you so wish, with a benefit of some extra, freedom, income, all those things if that is what you so wish. Okay. Our job is not to tell you what's important. Like I said, there's no answer key to this one, right? It's what you want. That's what's important. Our job as your coaches is to help you get to that thing. And so I want to, does anybody have any questions before we close up? No? All right. Well, I look forward to seeing your vision boards. And as I mentioned, if you signed your permission slip, I invite you to take a picture of yourself holding it and share it on your wall, and share it on Facebook and tag your coach, because that accountability piece is huge. All you're doing is letting people know, guess what? I'm growing. I'm growing. And that's it. So with that, you guys, I want to wish you a very happy new year. Once again, mad props to you for making your life a priority. This is what planning your life around what matters most to you means. You might have had other things going on tonight, but you decided to block off the time so that you can plan it. And so that's what I want to give you guys props for. So with that, you guys have a good night, and I will see you next year. Happy New Year, you guys. You can take yourselves off of mute to wish each other good night.
Happy New Year, folks. God bless you.
Good night. Happy New
Happy
Good
Year.
New
night.
Happy
Year.
New Year.
Good night.
Good night.